What's good, y'all? It's your boy, Untamed. Yeah, boy. Coming at you live for another episode of the Man What Podcast. Man, what? I'm here with my favorite co-host, Khalil Jamal. You know it go down every single time we touch this mic, baby. What's down? What's up,
It's
nigga?
another week. It's another week. It's another beautiful week.
Okay.
You see how
Another
you see how I'm
birdiful
rocking,
week.
man. You know, worthy T. You feel me? Little see,
My boy got the quarter
see, look,
zip.
see. I was gonna get to that, but see this first one.
Go
You know,
ahead.
usually, people like to put the big logo. We dialed back on the logo, went small logo on the black tee. You feel me? Now, if you don't know who this is, what this is, just know this is the Worthy brand, Jules Athletics, founded by Steph and Julian, aka Steph the Jeweler, my partner. You know what I'm saying? We got the Worthy tape out right now. So we just, rocking our own shit on the pod, promoting our own shit. You feel me? So we got that going. Brian, hopefully,
Okay.
and then I don't know if y'all been on the internet this week, but everybody talking about quarter zips. I just had to show y'all, man, that boys been rocking them quarter zips, been rocking them half zips, been on that, bro. Y'all late to the wave, bro. Y'all already late, bro.
Come on, we some
Y'all
umps,
already
man.
late,
We
bro.
been
Y'all
on
already
that.
late, bro. Been on that quarter zip wave. Been on that. You know what I'm saying? So, just a little, you know what I'm saying? Get together for the pod today. Nothing too crazy. Something slight. You know what I'm saying?
Man. See me, I got on the eye of the beholder to, you know what I'm saying, that yin and yang. You feel me? I'm up here being a big back eating at the same time, but we podding at the same time, so it don't really
Hey,
matter.
look. This is the vibes when you come to the man. What, bro? Niggas, you know what I'm saying? We cooling, bro. This like if you was in a room with us cooling with us, bro. This just like that. So if you watching
We
this,
just chilling, baby.
we cooling, man. But
That's a fact.
yo, shout out to everybody shout out to the returning listeners. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes
Shut the fuck out.
we shout out the new listeners, but let's shout out the returning listeners. If you tapped in with us, you rocking with us every week, we appreciate you, man. Every week we come in here and we try to give y'all some information, give y'all a little game, give y'all a little little you know what I'm saying, to get you through your day, to get you through your life. You know what I'm saying, to get you through your journey. So shout out to y'all if you tapping in, and shout out to everybody that's new listening too.
Shout out you, man. We love you.
Yes.
We need you, baby.
Nah, for real. More than you know.
Y'all boys keep us going and patrolling every week. You know what I'm saying? So,
shout out to
it may be some times where we don't drop an episode, but we still love y'all.
Shout out to my niggas born in 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my niggas born in the 2000s,
yeah.
bro.
Gen V? No, what are they? Gen X?
Gen Z. Actually.
Gen Z. That's crazy.
Shout out to my niggas born in the 2000s, man. I got homies born in 2002. That shit crazy. I got homies born in 2000. The year 2000. That should be crazy. You be like, damn, bro. I remember that year. I was 5. I was 6.
For real, I was 8, nigga.
Nah, no bullshit, but
we old around here.
Older for sure. But this is on brand. And speaking of on brand, I'm gonna take this into the first topic of the day. I wanted to talk about Nike. Nike has recently basically set out a plan to reinvigorate the brand. So
Okay.
a couple years back, Nike had a CEO, and he was focused on kind of making Nike the cool brand. So what do they go do? They go grab Travis Scott. They go grab Drake. They go grab all these people that are close to hip hop, and they start to center the brand of Nike around sneaker heads. Big
Hmm.
mistake. Huge mistake.
I agree.
Because Nike is a sportswear brand. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what their commitment to the mission is basically saying. It's more athlete centered, and some of the biggest shoes that they have on the market over the past, or that they put on the market over the past couple of years, have been the Jordan ones, the Air Force ones, and also the Nike Dunk. Um, they
Hmm.
overshot basically how much they thought people were gonna fuck with these shoes. Um, and if you remember back in 2021, you couldn't really get a pair of Dunks for under $100. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So Nike just pumped the system with all these Dunks, and then they didn't see a return on investment the way that they thought they would. You know what I'm saying? So
Overshot themselves, man.
exactly. So all these all these shoes that they put in the market, they start to slash prices. So right now, this is just for anybody who actually fucks with Dunks or anybody who may not know. You know, if you go try to buy a pair of Nike Dunks, you might get them for like $60, $70. You know,
That's a
and if
steal.
and
For
if
real, for
you and
real.
if you remember, or if you've been tapped in for a while, then you know that a couple years ago for Nike Dunks, it just wasn't like that. So it just goes to show you
Hmm.
how culture ebbs and flows. This goes to my branding talk. I think it's such a mistake to um, uncenter Nike from athletes because sneakerhead culture is so fickle. Styles change, trends change. You're putting the strong brand of Nike and you're attaching it to trend. That's a big mistake. Sports are here to stay. You have basketball, you have football, you have soccer, you have like now you have even the WNBA where there's emerging stars from there that you could push as well. Um, but when you take the focal point of your brand and then you take that out of the center, I think there's nothing but turmoil to come from that. So it was cool. It was cool because I thought that it was interesting for Nike to do like because they did like this whole op with the Wall Street Journal basically talking about it, and I just thought it was super cool for a brand as big and as successful as Nike to be forthcoming about their missteps and just wanting to kind of like redirect their energy and put it somewhere else. So I thought that was dope. Shout out to Nike, but just know if you do want some dunks, you should probably try to get them now because once they're out of sale, Nike's not making them for some time now. So you ain't gonna have no more dunks, y'all.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I remember just a few years ago, maybe last year or the year before that, everybody was getting them pandas, them black and
Yep.
white ones. You know what I mean? So Um, in my opinion, Dunk's always been pretty cool. You know what I mean? When I was in high school, that's when they was really popping. That's when everybody was getting Dunks. Everybody was getting the new Jordans. You
Right.
know what I mean? And I think that when I do see somebody with Dunks, especially with a good sense of style, it kind of gives me a sense of nostalgia. It makes me think back to when I was in high school, back when I
Yeah.
was in coming out of middle school. You know what I'm saying? To see those fresh pair of Dunks. You know what I'm saying? Because in our culture, the black culture, you already know the shoe that we love, man. The white Air Force One or the black Air Force One. But it was always refreshing to see people switch it up with the color
Yeah.
waves of the dunks. You got the whites, the reds, the blue, and there's just such an assortment of them. I actually did see a post like that. I seen it was I can't cite him right now. I forgot his name, but basically he was going to the Nike outlet and he was basically telling us the same thing you said. There's dunks that are 50, 60, $70 and I'm gonna go get me a pair. I need me some red ones and I need me some black ones. You know what I'm saying? I love the dunks shoe. So get them while they hot.
Nah, for
You know
sure.
what I'm saying?
And like I said, the three shoes that they kind of put heavily into the market, like their most successful shoes, are the Air Jordan One, the Air Force One, and then the Nike Dunk. So basically the CEO was saying, out of all the shoes that they overly put in the market, the Air Force One is the only one that kind of has stabilized over time. And
You know what? You know why I think that those three shoes are like some of the staple shoes, because back in the day they were the only cool shoe that wasn't over $125. You know what I'm saying? You could go and get you some ones for 80, $90. You could go and get you some Air Forces 90, $100. And the same thing was with the dunk. Well,
yeah,
some of the dunks, they got the exclusive ones, but I feel like those three shoes um, were a staple in keeping the cool shoe
mm-hmm.
affordable. Because usually a brand, once they see an uptick in the sales with their shoe, they have to raise the
100%.
price. You know what I mean, just to make more. But I love that they've kept those shoes around the same price point, and I think that led to their
I
success.
agree. I agree. And those are like because you got to think about it. Like a lot of the shoe sales and shit comes because you got kids going to school. You know what I'm saying? You got all the like people are buying their own shoes, their kids' shoes. So yeah, you got to keep that price point kind of like not super super cheap, but like not super super expensive. There's never been a time where we were in school where somebody came to school rocking like $300 shoes how these kids do now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's
just never
crazy.
been like that. So yeah, those
Nobody was wearing Gucci's and Louis
yeah.
and Balenciaga
Nah,
shoes how the kids do
nah.
now.
But again, I think that goes to like, one the difference in time. But I just think one of the main reasons why those shoes are so successful is the price point, but it's also just as equally the design. You know what I'm saying? You could rock a lot of shit with black and white ones. You could rock a lot of shit with a certain color of dunks. Like you could Air Force ones or Jordan ones. If you got the right colorway, you can't lose with them shoes, bro. Like you just can't. So you have to wear a terrible fit for them shits to like be off. But yeah, I think stylistically those shoes just go with so much. Like you could wear, I think I wore some Black Forces today. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like once you have a design that sleek, that kind of classic that you could rock with a plethora of things, then I think it just sticks. But again, I think the talk or the conversation is more so like not the shoes, but more so Nike um, not understanding in that moment that not centering the product around athletes was a big mistake. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about it. If you're putting the brand identity in the hands of somebody who might go and rock a Balenciaga when they get a little bit more money and run away from like a Nike, then you're putting your audience at risk to be moved over here and then moved over here. You know what I'm saying? So I just think there's constants in the world. Like every decade, we have sports, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, whether it's hockey, whether it's track, soccer, any of these things. There's always an elite athlete. And I think that'll never go away because athletes are some of the most important and popular people on the planet. I think musicians are like they're popular, but I think a musician with a shoe, the only one we've seen done it successfully is probably Kanye, and that's because Kanye was also a designer. Like these niggas don't be designers. Y'all giving everybody a shoe that's not designers. Y'all doing it just because of namesake. So I think once they got away from that, they started to see, damn, we losing tens of billions of dollars in market value. Something's got to change, and that's why I think right now, I don't know if you've heard this. This kind of goes into another topic. Steph Curry recently left Under Armour, um, and that's big because at the time of his deal, it was said that Steph Curry had a lifetime deal with Under Armour. So for them to let him go at a time where Nike's also trying to invigorate something new, it makes a lot of people think Steph Curry could go to Nike. Um, so Nike might set up the
I
play.
could see Steph at a Nike. And if Steph Curry does get a Nike, I'm definitely wearing it. I didn't really wear the Under Armour
Mm-hmm.
shoes. I think those are more like basketball less shoes. I mean, I have definitely seen them on
Yeah,
court, and I think a lot of people that play basketball definitely have had some
right.
Currys. You know what I mean? But I would love to see Curry go to
Yeah.
Nike because then I feel like the shoe that he wouldn't be able to
Mm-hmm.
make would sell maybe just a little bit better. Now he's a great athlete, and I know that he made Under Armour a
Of
lot of
course.
money. Just standing beside them, but I believe he'd be more successful at a more notable
Yes.
brand. Um, so I would love to see it, either that or Jordan
Mm-hmm.
or Adidas, maybe. You know what I mean? There's plenty of places that he could go. So now that he's a free agent, I think that there will be a bidding war on
Mm-hmm.
Curry, because he's such a innovator in the game, and he's really created the gameplay that we see right now.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
shooting threes, the everybody can shoot, the big man, and all that. You know what I mean? And I think whoever does land Curry, um, that they're gonna make a lot of money together, and I would sign him for a lifetime deal. You know
Yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
I mean, I don't know how much longer Curry has in the NBA, but you know what they say, like shot when you shoot threes, it's less on the knees. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
So I believe he still has a few more years in the league.
Steph
So
Curry could
I would like to see him come to Nike. Come on, man.
see
I need to wear me a Nike
see
Curry,
Steph
man.
Curry.
Swear I'm getting him first day.
Nah, for real. But yeah, Steph is one of them dudes, bro. Like he's probably gonna play until like 42, but that gives
Yeah.
Nike an opportunity to um go into retirement with Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? Like use that cachet to inspire other athletes to go to Nike because if they see Steph is there, they're gonna be like, all right, I might not take this meeting from Adidas because I see Steph over there and I like that shoe and I like that design and I want something that's on that level. You know what I'm saying? Because Adidas got Ant Man right now. Converse has Shea. A lot of people were saying, you know, or suspecting that Curry might go the Kyrie route and just make his own shit. Go, you know what I'm saying? Go independent because Kai's doing some fly shit right now. So it's just so many different options that Curry could go. I think Nike would be the biggest option. I think Adidas might not be the best option. What I want to say about Under Armour though, before we move on, Under Armour was never an athlete centered brand. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, in order to save y'all's brand, because they lost a lot of market share too. This is just free game. Y'all don't gotta pay me. Go back to athletics. Don't make it a sportswear brand. Make it an athletics brand. Think about functionality. Think about how these pants work for somebody. Think about how this shirt works for somebody. That's what y'all started with. Y'all started with the dry fit. There was a function to that. That's what made y'all pop. Not fitness apps, not sports or athletes that are front facing. It was never that for Under Armour. Under Armour, we seen niggas wearing them bitches in basketball practice as kids and football practice, but only when they were practicing. That lets you know what your product is for. So I think Under Armour, y'all fucked up trying to get an athlete, but what y'all should do is start to get with the fitness influencers. Start to get with the people that are popular online in the gym community, and start to build around that. Y'all got a lot more competition, but y'all also have a lot more bankroll than a lot of these up and coming brands. So Under Armour, y'all may have lost Steph Curry, but I don't think y'all have lost the war. I don't think y'all have lost the war. Y'all just lost the battle. And shit, shout out to Steph Curry. Shout out to Adidas because they're doing dope shit with Ant Man. And I think that's kind of the blueprint I want people to look after when they're talking about brand story, when they're talking about brand building. Look at what Adidas is doing with Ant Man, season by season. The video content that Adidas has on his YouTube, where it's highlighting Ant Man's life and the things that his brand stands for. It's all about storytelling, how you put it together, what's connecting people to this story. You know, they're showing Ant with his family, with his friends, how he came up, doing this, doing that. I don't see Nike doing that with nobody. I don't see Converse doing that with nobody. That shit actually means something because in today's time, content is king. So even if you don't think this video will be worth putting on YouTube, there's still a lot of value. So, like I said, I think it was great for a company as big and successful as Nike to kind of admit a downfall and just showing us in public that, yo, we're recommitted to the brand. So now we're paying attention to Nike. We're paying attention to all their moves a lot differently now. So salute to them.
Salute.
Yo, I wanted to say this. HBO, y'all are losing it. Y'all are fucking losing it. I'm letting y'all know as a fan and as somebody who actually gets a HBO Max for free with my phone service, y'all are losing the fucking plot, bro. Y'all are losing it, my nigga. Y'all got Task. Task is cool, right? But y'all cancel all these shows that we fucked with, and then y'all just renewed or y'all just greenlit 2 spinoffs from Game of Thrones. We just didn't watch House of Dragon, season 2 or 1. I'm letting y'all know right now, we don't give a fuck, bro. Stop trying to ride the cachet of Game of Thrones. That shit was ultra successful. People will always come back to that shit because it's classic. This new shit, we don't give a fuck, bro. We don't care. Nobody gives a fuck about the story of the prequel, behind the prequel, and the post. We don't give a fuck, bro. Stop remaking Game of Thrones. Get some new writers in there. Call Issa back. Because she had 2 fire shows over there. She had Insecure and Rap Shit. Y'all canceled Rap Shit before it got a 3rd season, before it really could get its wings. Y'all fucking up with industry. Y'all and y'all really get 1 show every 6 months. That's alright. Apple is kicking y'all ass. Netflix is kicking y'all's ass. YouTube is kicking y'all's ass. HBO, I'm here to tell you, as a fan and as a long-time customer, get it the fuck together. Get it the fuck together, bro. Because y'all are losing right now. And it's bad. Y'all got Entourage. Y'all got the catalog. Y'all got Game of Thrones. Y'all got classic shows on that bitch. But in terms of new shows, ass. That's all I wanted to say.
I agree. I've never been that big of a fan of HBO. I've never had HBO Max. I've never really watched the shows on there. It's crazy. I've never really watched Game of Thrones either. I've probably seen an episode or 2.
You're bugging. You actually love that show.
But that's that's what a lot of these streaming sites do. They get they fish and they fish and they fish, and when they finally pull a big show, they want to make spinoff and spinoff and spinoff. It was done with Power.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. We had 4 spinoffs of Power. I think that at a certain point, these shows become too costly. Not saying Game of Thrones, but the reason that they don't continue the main story, obviously because there's classic in it as far as the older episodes, but every time they spin off, they can get new actors and they can get new this and get new that, and it costs less. Yeah, it costs less because the more a show is successful, the more you have to pay the actors, the more the better the camera you need, the better the this, the better the that, the better wardrobe. You know what I mean? So I think that HBO has never really been one of the biggest leaders as far as like entertainment, except for old days. Though they were one of the originals, one of the creators of pay-per-view and just paying for their subscription to have these shows. Yeah. But because if you remember on the old cable, you had to order HBO Max. It would cost a certain amount of money, and then you were able to watch their shows. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. I
think what you're saying is true. They need some new writers. They need new shows. And I just think that right now everybody that has a good show idea, or everybody that has a good just overall idea, is going to Netflix, is going to Amazon, is going to some of these other Peacock,
See, and that's
is
the
going to
thing.
these
And the
other
thing
places.
is, they're actually going to YouTube.
Or YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Because I
Shout out
think
Arlette, who
in
does the
that
Pop the Balloon
is
series
because
that got picked up by Netflix.
a lot of people are being successful in YouTube right now. Is content is king. So whoever has a good entertaining content, you don't need to sell your shit to Netflix.
Nah.
You don't need to go to Amazon. Really, you can sit on YouTube, and just collect more of the revenue. But what I will say is that when you do go to a Netflix, you're subjected to a way bigger audience than what you probably can get on your YouTube right now. There's obviously there's big YouTubers, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people that just have something going that's making a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? You could always get a bigger bag
not for real.
from the Netflix and
Not
Netflix.
100%.
And I think that's they're swooping in, and they're taking all the young creators, and they're taking just like you said, he signed with Netflix now. They're going, they're being more innovative. They're watching the YouTube, and they're seeing all these creators that are popping off, and they're going and they're signing them. You know what I'm saying? And that,
because you got to think,
that's like the opposite of what HBO.
Because you got to think about it, bro. The most popular shows on YouTube aren't like scripted shows in terms of like how we remember scripted shows like Power or the Game of Thrones, right? It's more so like the dating shows. Those are low cost, like those are super low cost, high return. You feel me? Because you got all these new people who are nobodies essentially. They can't ask you for a whole bunch of money. You doing them a favor by putting them on TV. So Netflix could go grab 10 people and in total over the season pay them like $100K or even less than that, $20K, $30K just to be there. And you saved all this money, and all you got to do is just put them in the house together and tell them to be a little dramatic. That's just a high overhead, and these are the shows that are popular on TV. Love Island, Love Boat, Ultimatum, Pop the Balloon, 20v1s. All these videos are kind of like,
man, shout out Flavor Flav, bro. Flavor Flav, the originator, the creator.
Nah, for real.
The first person to really get on TV and do this shit. All of this shit stems from the flavor of love.
Did it?
Think about it. There may have been a show or two before that, but I'm talking about as far as the drama, as far as the Bad Girls Club, as far as all that scripted reality TV that's real, but it isn't real. Flavor of Love started that. Then he had the spinoff with New York, and the spinoff with Chance, and the spinoff with this, and the spinoff of that. All of this shit is a spinoff of that.
Real. Damn, nah, that's true.
It's all a spinoff of the creator. Where the clock's at, man? Get y'all clock now.
Hey,
go ahead and put them on. Shout out.
You know what's crazy? I went to the No Worries concert last month, and
No Worries.
And Anderson actually brought out Flavor Flav. That shit was crazy. Nigga had
Shout
the
out
big
Flav,
clock
man.
on his
You know
neck,
what I'm saying?
He actually live out
He
here.
doesn't get enough credit as one of the originators of this reality TV. He was one of the first ones to really go big with it. He was the first one where we all tuned in week after week, just to see what was 100%. Happening, And like I said, I think that show was kind of like the archetype for what we see now with the Pop the Balloons and the dating shows and all of these shows, even the Drewski show, you know what I mean? There's different flavors on it, but it all stems from that show like structure.
Nah, that's real. That's real. And then I want to give Pop the Balloon. I want to give MTV credit for Pop the Balloon, because if y'all are our age, y'all remember the show Next, and that shit was so funny when somebody was. Because look,
hilarious.
If y'all never seen Next, like for my young niggas out there, Y'all never seen the show on MTV called Next. What they would do is they would put like 5 people on a bus, and everybody on the bus just, they talking they shit. They think they're gonna be the one that don't get next. They think so. They overly confident, right? So a nigga be on there with like a bum ass fit, like a tank top and some beach sandals and some shorts. Nigga be overly confident, right? And he don't see the girl. He don't see the girls. So it's 5 dudes or it's 5 girls. It could be anyone. But let's just say it's a dude. He don't see the girl. He come off the bus. He confident. The girl standing right there though, so she get the first look at him right as he step off the bus. Let's say she don't like him. She this nigga. Next. and then there's curtains for you. But at any point in the date, she could say next, and your turn is over. So that's kind of the premise of the show. But like, it's kind of just as visceral as a reaction as the 20v1. Because the pop the balloon, because nigga just say something and then pop that balloon, and it'd be like, damn, you popped the balloon after that. Like some girl was like, she don't want to be with a man who don't have a relationship with God. And this dude just popped the balloon. And niggas just looking at him like, what the hell? Like, dang, bro, you popped the balloon because of that? But, I want to give...
a lot of viral moments in that, for sure.
Yeah, I want to give MTV a shout out because Next was kind of the blueprint of that. Also, another one that was... It was kind of a little faker, but it felt fake to me, but like, it could have been real, was Room Raiders. That was when they got disgusting. Like they would turn a black light on, and the niggas would have like cum sheets on their bed and shit. It was gross.
Yeah,
Room Raiders was sick.
I ain't gonna lie, we had the good shows, man. For sure. We had the original to all of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
You remember Yo Mama? Yo Mama was funny as hell.
Yeah. I love Yo Mama. That was my shit.
Bro, this was also BET days where you had BET Sundays where they would play just straight jazz, and then you would go then they would do Comic View. Comic View was just, come on, bro. Like that's how a lot of us older, like a lot of y'all young niggas found out about Lil Duval through Smile Bitch. We knew about Duval from his flip on a Music Soul Child song on Comic View. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to send this video because that shit was classic. I'm gonna have to put it right here or something. But look, I'm telling y'all right now, Duval, Comic View, BET back then, MTV back then, they had the elite shows, bruh. Like, there was College Hill, there was Baldwin Hills. It was just so much.
Punked.
You said who?
Punked.
Jackass. Robin Big.
Robin Big classic. Right
rest
there.
in peace, Big Black. Dang, what was it? What was the other show? Rob Dyrdek's. What was it? Fantasy World or
Ridiculousness?
Not that one. It was another one. It was damn.
Oh, I didn't watch
it. Was Rob Dyrdek's. It's where he had like the little building and niggas would come through and like skate in that bitch.
And skateboard.
Bro, what's the name of that
Wayne
show?
Was in one episode. Damn.
I forgot. Fantasy Factory. That was like it. That was it. Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory. So, that's the era we come from on MTV. We had good TV. We had great, phenomenal TV. So, and the thing is, like going back to the Game of Thrones point, is that it wasn't flips on shows that had already been here. It was original ideas. It was really putting your feet to the ground with culture and who's doing the things that are cool and need to be highlighted. We don't want to see another fucking Game of Thrones, bro. I really don't. I watched the first season of House of Dragon, and I'm letting you know I didn't connect to it. I didn't care enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, Game of Thrones is an all-time classic show. That might be top 5 greatest shows ever. But what if they made Friday sequel and it didn't have Ice Cube, and then they made another Friday sequel And then it didn't have the people who were in the Friday sequel that didn't have Ice Cube. And then they made another Friday sequel. And then they didn't have the other people that they... It's just like y'all losing the plot, bruh. Y'all losing it. Get with some writers. Get with some cultural writers. Some black people. Some Hispanics. Some people that's going to make some funny shit. Some cool-ass white niggas. And then do that. We don't want to see this flip on this show, flip on this show. Y'all look like y'all scrambling over there. So, do better. Anyway, we just talked about Comic View a couple of minutes ago. Talking about shows that we love, and there was a comedian. His name was Reggie Carroll, and he used to be on Comic View sometimes. And he was actually murdered in Mississippi. What makes it interesting is that he was murdered in a house owned by a company that's owned by Katt Williams. The person that shot Reggie Carroll dead was Katt Williams' bodyguard. And he's doing interviews, and he was, arrested and let go. He's on supervised release. And his story is that Reggie was waving a gun around, and he was acting belligerent, and he was acting like he was going to shoot Katt Williams' bodyguard, because they were living in the house at the time because the tour had basically took a pause, so they was chilling down south. Katt let them stay in the house. I feel like they probably was at odds with one another, and it came to an altercation where his bodyguard shot Reggie Carroll dead. And yeah, man, I just think it's what a past couple years for Katt Williams, bro. To have that Shannon Sharp interview to start 2024 with, right? And then this happened, and it's not really a blow to him, but it does make him look away in the media, because people are like, oh, that happened at his house. What's going on at Katt Williams' house? And I think comedians are some wild people. I've never met an even-keeled comedian. So when I read the story of Reggie Carroll, it just seemed like he was on the road, and it seemed like, maybe he was just not used to being in close spaces with other people, and it just made him maybe irritable, maybe made him like, you know what, I don't fuck with this. And unfortunately, he lost his life, man, because this is just to talk about, mental health, bro, because at the end of the day, he was on a tour that was successful, and that kind of goes to the player for the Dallas Cowboys, whose name I don't know right now. You could be at the height of your height, you know what I'm saying, doing the most, I guess, notable thing you've ever done, and still be just incredibly like sad, or like not want to be here. And I was just reading it, and I was sad because I was like, damn, like here's this guy who was essentially like a late bloomer. Really started to catch his wind at the tail end of his life, and to lose it like that is just like it's just sad, So rest in peace, Reggie Carroll.
Yeah.
That story is sad. I just hope the people who are mentally out of it.
It's sad, but the way that I feel is like this goes for anybody. Like, don't wave your gun around. Don't pull out your gun unless you're ready to.
And that was Katt.
There's no other reason for you to pull out a gun.
And that was,
and when you do pull out a gun, you got to realize that other people may have a gun in it, and when you do pull out your gun, you're a threat. You're an immediate threat that that a lot of people will be able to perceive, especially around you. So, just be vigilant of when to pull out your firearm. Because it may not end the way you think it is. You know, sad that it may be that
that he lost his life, but
Buddy lost his life, but you know, just be more smart with your
yeah,
firearms.
nah,
You know what I'm saying?
honestly, and that to me was the mental health part of it, because I feel like if you're not ready to if you're not ready to pull out your gun and use it, then waving it around is signs that, oh, there's something off. You know what I'm saying? Like there's something off. Like you're not just waving it around, because if you know that this guy's a bodyguard, right, and you know that he also has a firearm, and you're just waving a gun around, you have to know that if you come at him waving a gun, he's probably got a gun too, and he's probably going to use it. And you know that's unfortunately what ended up happening.
Yeah.
So that's why I say I like to speak towards like the mental health part of it, because there was obviously something wrong with bro. You know what I'm saying? There was obviously something wrong with bro. But I also wanted to highlight something I read. I read something that Sheff G is in prison in Brooklyn, and he said that let me actually read this, because he says Marcy Correctional Facility is holding me and kicking me out of general population, putting me in handicap dorm. It's against my rights, and they're threatening me about being a rapper. They took all my shit, cuffed me for 2 hours outside in the cold with no reason and no explanation. I need help, respectfully. Right now, I've been improperly placed in a medical handicap dorm that is only reserved for people with medical needs and improved accommodations. There are people who are sick, people who have lost their control to control to bowel movement, so they are shitting in the beds, all in the showers, and some people are filling piss in bottles and throwing them in the same sink. They are telling us to brush our teeth and wash our face in. This is inhumane and unjust. Spread the word. Marcy Correctional Facility. So Sheff G is in jail. He's saying that Marcy Correctional Facility is making them live in inhumane conditions. And I also seen something about this by Charleston White. He said basically if they admit you into a hospital, technically they can't release records about you, because that goes against HIPAA. So they do this as a form of like control. So putting somebody like Sheff G in here, who's a pretty notable person, kind of takes away the little resources that he does have in jail. So he just wanted people to talk about it and spread the word, because it is fucked up, man. And if you think about it, like even though prisoners are in jail for a reason, it is fucked up to have them in inhumane conditions, because some of those people aren't in there for the most fucked up things. Some of those people are in there because they came across a hard time, they did something, they got time for it. They still deserve to be living in humane conditions. Piss and shit in the sink is ridiculous, bro. That shit's ridiculous.
I agree. And shout out Sheff G. He is one of my favorite New York rappers, especially out of the new school. I really like his music. I really like just him as a stunner and a person. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say about his 5 years that he's doing in prison right now, Sheff G isn't in there for, just some little shit. He's in there for attempted murder and conspiracy. Yeah. Though he pled out to 5 years, we can't look past the charges. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that him being treated that way is just, but there has to be a reason behind it. We can't see everything that happens behind the wall, and Sheff G has a large voice, right, in our entertainment industry. So when he does say something, it makes its way around. You know what I'm saying? But I just hope that he wasn't in there, causing trouble and probably fighting or whatever the fuck he was doing, because there has to be a reason. They don't just though people make it seem like they're just picking on me because of this and that and that and that. Though sometimes that may be true. I know plenty of people that went to prison or jail and they slid their way through. They didn't have too much problems with the guards or whatever, maybe here and there, but I've known multiple people who have had well, I don't want to say good ride because you're in prison.
Yeah, like
That's probably never
never.
good, but just like a smooth
Right.
ride. You know
Nah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
As smooth as it can be while you're in prison. So, though it's inhumane, I think Chef G should be sitting in there, and like I said, I'm a fan of Chef G, but I think he should just sit in there and really reflect on his actions. You know what I mean? Though you're a good rapper and you probably take care of your family and stuff like this. You're the one who ultimately put yourself there. So I don't think that we should take light away from that point.
Yeah.
You put
I
yourself
still think
there.
I
It was
still
your
I still think
actions.
that you put yourself there with your actions. You still shouldn't have to live in certain conditions. Like they have people.
They got it worse in other countries, man. You never
That's
watched
cool, but we
World's
here.
Worst
That's cool,
Prisons
but
and
we
stuff
here.
like that?
We here, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, but we here and they got it over here too.
But,
You know what I'm saying?
man, I think
I feel for
you
him
know
though.
what
I feel for him.
I don't want to speak to maybe what he, even though he could have been in there doing something that made him react like this. There's also a world where even if you have like a minor transgression with somebody, they might take it as bigger because you think you're cool because you're this fucking rapper and you think you're cool because you think you're supposed to get preferential treatment. We're gonna fucking show you. And there's cops that think like that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people who actually think like
for
that.
sure.
Like, they're
for
jealous,
sure.
bro.
But that's why you shouldn't. And you're right. You're right. There are people that think like that, and that's wrong. First of all, before I even say anything, that's wrong. You know what I mean? To take revenge and take advantage of people's situation, but you gotta think of where you put yourself.
Look,
you're placing yourself in these situations.
you're absolutely right with that, and I 100% agree. But put me. I'll do my time. I'm not complaining about doing my time. I'm saying, y'all just got, because it'd be different if Chef G was saying like, oh, y'all should let me out of jail. Y'all should let me out of jail. He's saying, just put me somewhere cleaner, bro. Put me back in Gen Pop. Like, get me out of this little hospital. Like he's saying.
But the thing about it is you don't get to choose. And that's the worst part about being locked up, being in jail. You don't get to choose what happens to you. You're no longer in control of your day-to-day, how you were before. And that's something that we all have to think about when we're making actions.
I
you know what I'm saying? When we're doing certain things that can land us in these places. That's wrong that he's being treated like that. But, it's fucked up. But you don't get to choose. You don't get to. And that's the worst part about it. So, he definitely deserves justice. He definitely deserves to be in Gen Pop, you know what I'm saying, in a cleanly area. But what can you do when you're not in control of your fate?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
See, and that goes to an even bigger point of like what you said. Do whatever the fuck you can to stay out of jail, because once you get behind the walls, you're absolutely right.
You're a dog. You're a dog, and just how people treat their animal. Go get in the cage. Go get in there. I'll let you out when I want to. I'll feed you when I feel like it. I'll wash you when I want to. You're gonna stink. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how a lot of people are treated in jail.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? No matter who you are, and you don't really have as much power. No matter how powerful you are. Look at Diddy. Look at, there's plenty of examples of once you get behind those walls, you're no longer in control as much as you want to be, So I think the bigger lesson here is to just do whatever the fuck you can to stay out of there. And just, at least don't get caught. At the very least. I mean, don't do the shit.
At the very least, don't get
caught.
Yeah. Nah, I agree. So I just wanted to shed light on it just because, Chef G did. He asked the people that, and I fuck with Chef G's music, so I felt the need to just, at least come in here and say, damn, because we done talked about him on the pod before, so just wanted to come in here and say, it's not right, and he asking people and fans to get involved. So, shout out Chef G, man.
Yeah.
Free Chef G.
Well, we doing our part right now.
Free Chef G.
We're spreading it on our platform, and free Sheff. I can't wait till he get back out and get to making that good
Yes,
music, man.
sir. Got this is just a quick shout out before we get to the last topic. Shout out to the weekend. His After Hours Till Dawn tour has grossed over $1 billion. So shout out to the weekend, man. That's an incredible feat. That's an incredible
Makes
fucking feat.
sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, definitely makes sense.
Makes sense.
Makes sense, but that's an incredible feat. Like
For sure.
a $1 billion tour is
But the
different.
weekend is legendary. You know what I mean? Like, out of all the artists that we've had in the past 20 years, I think the weekend has lasted the test of time, and he's continued to make the right business decisions, and he's also continued to make great music, you know, throughout everything, throughout all the beef, throughout all the whatever. He always has his head held high, and he always comes out seemingly on top. You know what I'm saying? So for him to gross $1 billion,
look, if you
I'm not
look,
surprised.
man, if you diss me and I go on a $1 billion tour, what did your diss even mean?
Not to mention, the weekend has a great live show.
Phenomenal live show.
Fantastic.
Phenomenal live show. Like all the theatrics and shit, like
so.
is different, man. Like if you ever seen like the YouTube show that he did, or like, I mean, not the YouTube, but the I think it was Amazon. He did it like a show, like a live stream show, and it was just this fucking incredible, this whole thing, bro. Like the weekend show is different. So yeah, shout out to him, and shout out to fucking being on a $1 billion tour. That's incredible, bro. I think the
For
talk
sure.
of biggest artists could shut the fuck up now. Like if I go on a $1 billion tour, you can't tell me anything. But
For real.
the last topic I wanted to get into, it's kind of more like court shit, like criminal shit. There's a class action lawsuit in New York that has been filed against OnlyFans, and basically it's users suing the platform because a lot of people are claiming that some of the customers are buying things that they don't end up getting. So let's say, for example, if you follow a creator on OnlyFans, like you follow a girl, right? And she says, hey, buy this picture of my titties without the top type shit, right? And then you buy it, and then it's the titties with the top still. You were misled in your in the sales process, so you can act. They're encouraging people who go through shit like that to report it, and it's going to be a part of a bigger class action lawsuit that gets people who pay for subscriptions their money back. And it's starting in New York, but it's a federal case, so it's going to probably be more. They're encouraging people around the world to do this. I just think it's super interesting, and it changes the game on the power that OnlyFans is going to have over its creators. Because now there has to be a third-party source to confirm that you're selling what you say you're selling. So it's not even just a direct-to-consumer. It affects the role of direct-to-consumer, because now it's going to have to be consumer. It's going to have to be business to third party to consumer because of all this shit. And I just think that's super interesting. And I think it's going to start to kind of start a culture within online creators of beef, because doing shit like that fucks up the pot, not for just OnlyFans creators, Patreon creators, YouTube Plus creators, any subscription-based creators. It fucks up the platform because now there has to be a third party in the middle to get you to here, and now funds might go up. Now that $10 that you might used to get off a subscription is $8.50 now because they got to pay this third party source. So I just thought that was super interesting.
You know, it's crazy. I actually agree with that. I agree with that lawsuit. because for the past couple of years that's been like the meta. Okay, yeah, you have some of your girls or some of your men that actually do what they say they are on there, you know what I mean, if you know what I'm saying. But there are a lot, especially with the women, there's a lot of them that like bait you into paying them a subscription, and then when you get on there you're like, what the fuck, like what am I paying for? A lot of people take the same pictures that they have on Instagram and post them on their OnlyFans, but then Instagram is free and they make you pay them. Even if you pay for a month, it's still a month of your time a month of your wages that you lost, and I don't like that shit. I don't like the clickbaity. I don't like the go follow me on my link. I feel like people are stealing your money. That's theft. You know what I'm? It's like virtual theft.
It is because
you're saying you're giving the impression that it's one thing, and then when we get on there, it's the same exact shit that we could have got for free. So why are you making me pay for it? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of that goes unchecked. Though it may just be a month or two, you know, that's theft. And you know,
but that's why they filed a class action
I think
lawsuit.
that it's good.
That's gonna get multiple people paid. Like the person whoever filed this is not just a one person.
We know we know what OnlyFans is for. You know what I'm saying? We know, like, you can play and bait it for whatever. You use it for this or use it for that. The main thing that OnlyFans is used for is the thing. You already know what it's for.
But here's the thing: there's people who do other stuff on subscription.
Yeah, of course, but they're not misleading you by they're not sexually misleading you. They're not pretending like they're naked on there. They're telling you, hey,
and that's the thing.
I do this kind of course on there. Hey, I can teach you how to do stocks or whatever. That's not the same thing. We're talking about the sexual thing where people are misleading you and making you spend your money, and then you're not getting what you paid for. It's like ordering a Playboy book back in the day, right? And they send you Sports Illustrated, where everybody has their you know, it's sexy girls and models, but they have on clothes.
You hit a nail on the head. That's exactly what it's like. That's precisely what it's like. So, yeah, but I was gonna say it's big to me. It's bigger than Patreon it's bigger than OnlyFans because this is gonna start to affect creators across platforms. Yeah, for sure. Like even if you're not misleading people, because they still are gonna have to verify it. You feel me? So that, like I said, that 10 that you got,
they fucked it up though.
That you got might turn into 790.
They fucked it up for everybody. Stop stealing from people. Stop stealing from people. Stop misleading the public, and taking their money.
Yeah, no, that's real.
How about that?
And I think
just be truthful, be real.
Truthful, be real. I think we can end right there. For real. Be truthful, be real.
Oh God, be true, be real. So you just finished watching another episode of the Man What podcast with me, Untamed. You already know the rest. Go ahead and say it with me. Yeah, I'm here with my favorite co-host, Khalil Jamal. It goes down every single time we touch this mic. Shout out everybody. If you made it this far in the video, click to the left or the right. We got a couple of links for you. You know what I'm saying? We got so many episodes. We've talked about so many topics. So just continue to watch your boys. Shout out Gam. This is her favorite podcast. Shout out everybody from TikTok, Instagram. Make sure you go follow us at Man What Podcast on all your major sites, social media, whatever. Man, we love y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us for a little hour, man. We got another episode coming real soon, so y'all stay tuned in for the next episode of the Man What Podcast. Man What? Peace.
Shout out to Wale, man. Great album. Love it.
Shout out Wale.